Or I believe we are streaming. I have really got to make an intro and schedule this. There's several other things I gotta do to make it life easier for the subscribers and anybody who wishes to watch us. Uh, yep, I think we are live. So anyway, hello and welcome to This Date in History, also known as TDH. This show is all about the events that occurred to date in years past, both recognized by actual historians, but mainly things that we personally find intriguing enough for us to bring to you. The sources of this information come from the Smart Device application, Today in History, What Happened Today in History, Historical Calendar,
and on this day.
.com, right? The website, yep.
Yep, perfect, okay.
For links to those sources, the music, and anything else we gather throughout the show, check the underbar. Anyway, I am Xander.
I'm known as Kyle Babushi.
Also is currently Richard Pound. Today is Sun's Day, also known as Sunday, March 27th, 2022. Why don't you start us off?
Richard Pound. Okay, so anyways, in 1309, we got Pope Clement the Fifth.
Yep.
I always get these freaking Roman numerals all screwed up. Anyways, imposes excommunication and interdiction on Venice and general prohibition of all commercial intercourse with Venice, which had seized on Ferrara, I think. Ferrara. That was a lot of ers. Anyways, a papal fiefdom.
Fiefdom, yes. I'm looking up Ferrara right now, and I had an internet hiccup earlier. I think I might need to reset my router and modem today. Here we go. Well, that's not what I was looking for. Ferrara Papal. Well, I'm not getting any information on what is Ferrara, so... But anyway, yeah, that's interesting. They came down on Venice with the Wrath of Thor. Moving on up 20 years, in 1329, Pope John the 22nd issued in his Agro Dominico condemning some writings of Meister Eckhart as heretical. Oh. Sounds like some Warhammer 40k BS right there.
Yeah.
Exterminatus!
Anyways, we got 1513, we got Spanish explorer Juan Ponce de Leon reaches the northern end of the Bahamas on the first voyage to Florida.
Cool. Jumping on up into 1625, Charles I became King of England, Scotland, and Ireland, as well as claiming the title of King of France. Dang, can you have enough countries?
That's a lot of responsibility right there.
Yeah.
Anyways, 13 years later, in 1638, we got the first four destructive Calabrian, I think, earthquake strikes southern Italy, measuring magnitude 6.8, and assigned a Mercalli intensity of, these Roman numerals. 11. It kills about 10,000, between 10,000 and 30,000 people.
That's a lot of people, but I've never seen a Mercalli get up to 11. Like, it's usually like 7 or 9 or even 10, but 11, that's intense.
It's like a measurement, right?
Yeah, it's kind of like the Richter scale, but like instead of like, tectonic shifting and everything, it is described off of the destructive, capabilities or the aftermath of the thing. So, Mercalli intensity of 11 is extreme, or maybe even beyond that, because, as I've said, I've never seen an 11 before. That's insane. Anyway, Jumping on up into 1782, the Second Rockingham Ministry assumed office in Great Britain and began negotiations to end the American War of Independence. Yep. Oh. They didn't want to talk to us before, and then they suddenly did when we kicked their ass. So.
Shocker. Anyways, in 1794, the United States government establishes a permanent navy in all authorities,
Authorizes.
authorizes. Got a little hiccup there. The building of 6 frigates.
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 Yeah,
Oh God.
which is like a small type of a ship. But yeah, that's
Yeah.
the birth of our navy.
Yep.
Jumping on up into the next century in 1809, during the Peninsular War, a combined Franco-Polish force defeated the Spanish in the Battle of Ciudad Real.
See you, Dad.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'll see you, Dad, later.
Yeah.
Anyways, in 1814, we got the War of 1812, Central Alabama. U.S. forces under General Andrew Jackson defeated the Creek at the Battle of Horseshoe Bend.
Yep.
Oh, that's an interesting name. But
Moving on up in 1836, during the Texas Revolution, on the orders of General Antonio Lopez de Santa Anna, the Mexican Army massacres 342 Texian Army prisoner of war at Goliad, Texas, which will be a very bad thing for him later on. I think we still have his wooden leg, right? So,
I got no idea.
yeah. Soen would know. Soen's a better historian than I ever could hope to be. So.
Anyways, in 1866, we got President of the United States of America Andrew Johnson vetoes the Civil Rights Act of 1866. His veto is overridden by Congress, and the bill passed into law on April 9th.
I'm looking up the Civil Rights Act of 1866, and I don't know why Google's being so laggy. There we go. The Civil Rights Act of 1866 was the first United States federal law to define citizenship and affirm that all citizens are equally protected by the law. It was mainly intended in the wake of the American Civil War to protect the civil rights of persons of African descent born in or brought to the United States. And Andrew Jackson, being a slave owner, probably vetoed it for that reason, even though that was after the Civil War. So, why would he, or Andrew Johnson, why would he veto that? Anyway, jumping on up in 1871, the first international rugby football match when Scotland defeated England in Edinburgh at Royal Palace occurred. Interesting.
Huh. Anyways, in 1884, this one's pretty savage. I just read it like a second ago.
Oh, dang.
A mob in Cincinnati, Ohio, United States attacked members of jury which had returned a verdict of manslaughter in which has seen a clear case of murder in the first place. Over the next few days, the mob would riot and eventually destroy the car house because of it.
So, but what was the verdict? Was it guilty or not guilty? Cincinnati, 1884. Let me look that up. Cincinnati, 1884 verdict. Yeah. Well, this is not telling me anything. Cincinnati riots in 1884. Background. Friday, Saturday.
Return a verdict from manslaughter.
Yeah, but what was the verdict, though? That's what I'm trying to figure out. Well, I'm not going to read through all this to figure this out, but I'm going to post this in the underbar for anybody who actually cares enough to do so in my stead. And you're more than welcome to leave a comment in the underbar to tell me what for. Anyway, 2 years after that, in 1886, Geronimo, the Apache warrior, surrendered to the U.S. Army, ending the main phase of the Apache Wars.
Huh.
Geronimo!
Anyways, the last but not least in the 1899 here, we got Emilio Angelito, which leads the Filipino forces for the only time during the Philippine-American War at the Battle of Morillo River.
Jumping from there into the next century, in 1901, during the Philippine-American War, well, we're talking about that just now, once again, Amelia Aguinaldo.
Such a weird name.
Oh, just wait until birth and death, brother. Leader of the first Philippine Republic was captured by the Americans, or the United States people. Because the Philippines are in America. America is 2 continents that contain 35 countries. The United States of America being one of them. So, yeah. Well, that's interesting. 2 years to the date, he started something and then he got captured.
Shocker. Anyways, 14 years later, 1915, we got Typhoid Mary, the first healthy carrier of disease ever identified in the United States, is put in quarantine for the second time where it would remain for the rest of her life.
Yeah, she was asymptomatic, but she carried typhoid fever, which killed people except for her. And it was incurable, but it didn't kill her. It didn't cause her any higher effects or anything like that. So she just had to live her life in quarantine, at risk of infecting other people with a disease that would kill everybody except for her, which is weird,
Probably she has 100% immune, probably.
Yeah. Moving on up 3 more years in the 1918, the National Council of Bessarabia proclaimed union with the Kingdom of Romania. And also, welcome, Mr. Lunk.
Oh, Mr. Lunk is here. Oh.
Yes, he is.
No, you say you wish Lunk was here?
Yes.
Wish granted.
Thank you.
I'm here.
Yes.
Like a retarded genie, I appear.
Speak of the devil, and he shall appear.
Oh my god, did you quit Bane?
Yes.
Okay, what year are y'all on?
1938.
Yes.
Yeah. God damn, go fucking quick. 1938, the Second Sino-Japanese War, the Battle of Typhoid Hall begins, resulting several weeks later in the war's first major Chinese victory over Japan.
Oh,
okay.
Cool.
Nice. And also in 1941, World War War II, Yugoslav Air Force officers toppled the pro-Axis government in a bloodless coup. That's good.
Yeah, well, some would argue that you were right, because World War II is technically just an extension of the first one. It just had a little bit of an intermissionary period. So, but speaking of that, in 1942, during the Holocaust, Nazi Germany and Vichy France began the deportation of 65,000 Jews from Drancy internment camp to German extermination camps, which is contestable because...
Well, in that case, some people consider Vietnam the World War III.
I don't see how that would be a thing.
I don't know, because, that, Korean War, and Gulf War. Well, Cold War, Korean War, and, Vietnam, we can all consider that together.
I mean, it would be a world war if the majority of the world was actually, fighting each other.
I know.
I guess it was a global Cold War, which...
Yeah.
That turned hot in certain places, Or I guess we could call it the burrito war, because, you put a burrito in the microwave, some places stay hot while other places stay frozen solid. So, we can just call it the burrito time. So there we go.
Huh. Sounds good either way, right?
Yeah. I can go for a burrito right now, actually. Too bad Chipotle costs like $87 now or something ridiculous.
But fucking food poisoning. What the fuck a bell when it's fucking guaranteed?
Yeah.
Of course it's guaranteed. Anyways, we got in 1943, during the World War II, the Battle of Komandorski Islands in the, oh my goodness gracious, Aleutian Islands. The battle begins when the United States Navy forces intercepts Japanese attempting to reinforce a garrison at Kiska. Yeah, Kiska.
The Aleutian Islands, if I'm correct, are part of Alaska, and I am correct. There was the Aleutian. A lot of people don't know this, but Japan had some minor military presence in the Aleutian archipelago. The island strain that trails off from Alaska into Russia. They actually had some forward operating bases there and such. And this is precisely what this was. They're trying to reinforce that, and they got pushed out again. Anyway, moving up 2 more years, in 1945, also during the Second Global Conflict, Operation Starvation, that is a horrifying name, the aerial mining of Japan's ports and waterways began, and also Argentina declares war on the Axis powers. Alright.
Argentina?
Argentina.
Wow, wait, who are they,
Argentina is in South America. That's where all the Nazis left to.
Hey, before you say anything, also the Japanese fled to Brazil.
Yeah. You are going to Brazil.
What? Why you think, Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu became a thing?
Huh. That's
Yeah,
right.
because Japanese had Jiu-Jitsu.
Okay, yeah, that's right. That makes sense. There are still a lot of Japanese, Japanese people are what, 30% of Brazilians? How many Japanese in Brazil?
Besides Portuguese.
There's 1.5 million Japanese living in Brazil. Brazil is the home to the world's largest community of Japanese descendants outside of Japan.
Man,
Dang.
hey, well, you want to know where I learned that from?
A book?
No. Metal Gear fucking Rising.
Oh my god, of course. Dude, people get
No,
more
because-
education from video games these days than from actual schools.
Because one of the people you
Schools ain't
fight,
shit.
one of the people you fight is named Jetstream Sam, and he's Brazilian Japanese.
Huh.
And he's a samurai.
A Brazilian Japanese samurai. That's interesting.
And he's badass. He's like one of the hardest bosses in the fucking game.
It sounds like a hard boss with that kind of a resume. Why don't you tell us what happened in 1958?
Sure, 1958, Nikita Khrushchev becomes chairman of the Council of Ministers in the Soviet Union. That sounds like something in church, but I know it's not.
Yeah,
It's what they call themselves. That's weird, though.
yeah. 1964, the Good Friday earthquake. Well, is it really Good Friday? The most powerful earthquake recorded in North American history, at a magnitude of 9.2, struck south-central Alaska, causing the deaths of 125 people and inflicting massive damage to the city of Anchorage. But thankfully, it's not really that densely populated of an area. If that had hit someplace like California, we'd be talking in the hundreds of thousands of deaths. So,
Well, mostly in Alaska, it's mostly military. People being sent there.
yeah, in wilderness and crazy mountain men type people. So,
Also, 1975, construction of the Trans-Alaska pipeline system begins.
speaking
Oh, how
of,
that looks awesome.
man, there's a lot of Alaska stories today. We have the Japanese thing, this earthquake, this pipeline.
Pipeline.
Yeah.
Anyways, in 1976, 1 year later, we got the first section of the Washington Metro opens to the public.
Nice. 365 days after that, in 1977, the Tenerife airport disaster occurred in which two Boeing 747 airliners collided on a foggy runway on Tenerife in the Canary Islands, killing 583 people, 248 of them on the KLM, the entire passenger crew and stuff, and then 335 on the Pan Am. 61 survived on the Pan Am flight, and this became the deadliest aviation accident in history. Yeesh.
Damn. Oh, that's horrible. 3 years later, 1980, the Norwegian oil platform Alexander L. Kielland collapsed in the North Sea, killing 123 of its crew of 212. It's horrible.
Dang. That's over half. So,
Yeah.
Anyways, in 1981, we got the solidarity. Oh my gosh.
You got it right. You got it right the second time.
solidarity.
Yeah. Anyways, the solidarity movement in Poland stages a warning strike in which at least 12 million Poles?
Oh. Yep, let's call them the Poles.
Yep.
Poles walk off their jobs for 4 hours.
Yep. 12 million people just walked off because they got fed up. Where's that kind of energy in the United States, huh? What happened to us? You know, I mean, I was making this point to my dad earlier today. We formed this country on the basis of we don't want taxation without representation. But then again, everybody who's under the age of 18 can't vote, but they're taxed in their paychecks. That is taxation without representation incarnate. What happened to us? Anyway, jumping
Also,
on.
jumping up to 5 years, in 1986, a car bomb closed outside Russell Street Police headquarters in Melbourne, Australia, killing one police officer and injuring 21 people. That's horrible.
I wonder if he did it with a blackjack. That's a really stupid joke. I'm sorry. That is bad.
Blackjack.
I gotta say though,
Wow.
I don't much care for Irish car bombs unless I can drink them. So.
Oh my god.
4 years later, in 1990, the United States began broadcasting anti-Castro propaganda to Cuba on TV Marti.
Wow.
Propaganda shit.
Yo, when I read that shit, I was like, oh my god, someone's got a fucking death wish. But then I realized it's in the United States.
Yeah.
No one's dumb enough to do that shit in Cuba, because that's a fucking... Whoever's doing that is definitely suicidal.
Definitely.
I can take this 93 here, brother.
Do it.
Which one? There's two.
Oh, the first one.
Okay.
I didn't realize there's a second one. Anyways, in the first 1993 here, we got Jane Zeman is appointed the president of screw the People's Republic, just China. China.
Just China.
Yep. Screw the People's Republic. That's not part of China.
Yep.
In 1993, Italian former minister and Christian democracy leader Guido Argentino is accused of mafia allegiance by the Tribunal of Palermo.
Palermo, which is a city on Sicily, which is that little soccer ball-shaped island that the boot of Italy is kicking.
Well, if he's in Sicily, then I'm guessing it is true that he was with mob affiliation.
Probably,
Yeah, Sicily, yes. If you're gonna be high up in there, you're gonna have to kiss some rings.
Yep. 5 years later, in 1998, the Food and Drug Administration, also known as the FDA, approved Viagra for use as treatment for erectile dysfunction, the first pill to be approved for this condition in the United States.
You guys want to take some Viagra, bro?
Nah, bro, my life is hard enough.
Also, 2000,
I think we're still in the
Phillips
90s.
petroleum plant
99 post-World War.
exploded. Well, okay. In 1999, Kosovo War, an American rocket F-117, a Nighthawk, is shot down by a Yugoslav army SAM turret, service to air missile. The first and only Nighthawk to be lost in combat.
Hmm.
Yeah, so I said SAM, surface to air missile.
Yeah.
I can take this first 2000 here.
Do it.
Anyways, the only 2000 here, a Philippines petroleum plant explodes in Pasadena, Texas, kills at least one person and injures at least someone others.
Dang. Yep. That's about the sound it made. In 2002, the Nanterre massacre occurred, in which in Nanterre, France, a gunman opened fire at the end of a town council meeting, resulting in the deaths of 8 councillors. 19 others were injured. Jeez.
Damn. Also, in 2004, HMS Gallia, a decommissioned Landier-class frigate, is sunk as a artificial reef off Cornwall, the first of its kind in Europe. Oh, that's awesome. They got turned into a reef.
Yeah. First artificial reef. Well, the first artificial reef. We're talking about the first one in Europe. But the first artificial
Yep.
reef. The earliest recorded artificial reef in the United States is from the 1830s, when logs from huts were used off the coast of South Carolina to improve fishing. Hold on. Artificial reefs to increase fish yields or for agriculture began no later than the 17th century in Japan, when rubble and rocks were used to grow kelp. Interesting.
Yeah.
Moving on up into 2009, the dam forming Situ Gintung, an artificial lake in Indonesia, failed, causing the deaths of at least 99 people.
Oh.
Never live downstream from a dam. So.
Also 2014, Philippines signed a peace accord with the largest Muslim rebel group, the Moro Islamic Liberation Front, ending decades of conflict.
Cool.
Even though most Filipinos are Roman Catholic.
Huh.
Well, somebody's got to be the bigger man and, say bygones be bygones and live together, Not necessarily saying we got to all hold hands and sing Kumbaya, but we're all on this earth together. Why are we killing each other,
People are eating
No,
too
we're
much
not going to be singing
muffins.
Kumbaya. We're going to be singing some metal song like something Megadeth.
Something from Death Clock.
That too.
Do you like coffee?
Yeah, I was about to say we're going to be singing Dusty Hills Coffee.
Hell yeah. From the hills of Colombia.
From the hills of Colombia. What the fuck?
Moving on up into 2015, Al-Shabaab militants attack and temporarily occupied a Mogadishu hotel, leaving at least 20 people dead.
Horrible. Also, 2016, a suicide blast in Gulsan Laban Park, Lahore, claims over 70 lives and leaves almost 300 others injured. The target of the bombing are Christians celebrating Easter. Oh shit, I remember this shit.
Lahore.
It was horrible.
Yeah.
Enough with your bloody jihads, guys. Seriously.
I can take this last one here.
Alright, this one's interesting.
So the most recent one on this date is in 2020. North Macedonia, I hope I pronounced that right,
Nope.
becomes the 30th member of NATO.
Yeah. Macedonia, that's in Greece. And that's interesting. Just 2 years ago today, they're still getting more members. That's intriguing. North Atlantic Treaty Organization, NATO. Any articles grab your guys' attention today?
For me, there's like three. One being in the 90s where propaganda of Castro was being sent in the U.S.
That is interesting.
But you don't really need anti-propaganda for them. All you gotta do is simply ask a fucking Cuban, how is it in Cuba? And they'll give you everything you need to know.
Yeah. Well, that's another point that I was making. Like, well, I'll get into that some other point maybe. But
I know, because honestly, because one of my mom's friends she used to work with at Burger King was from Cuba. And at one point, she was going to see her loved one. This fucker pretty much stopped everybody from leaving for one point. Yeah, Castro was a fucker,
Yep.
motherfucker.
He was. What about you, Mr. Keogh?
The Alaskan ones are pretty cool.
I was going to say the same thing. 3 Alaskan ones.
Also, that's for me too. If I say I got more than one, but I kept on the first one. That's okay. Y'all all know when it's good.
Yeah. Oh, let's not forget about Viagra. So.
Oh, you mean the one thing that means that helps with airflow? That was the only thing that with blood flow.
Blood flow. Viagra helps with air. I remember reading a joke about some guy who he got a Viagra pill stuck in his throat and his neck was stiff for days. Anyway, moving on into births, in 1401, we have Albert III, Duke of Bavaria.
Yeah. In 1416, Francis of Paola, Italian friar and saint who founded the Order of the Minims.
Minims. What is the Order of the Minims? Officially known as the Order of Minims, are a Roman Catholic religious order of friars founded by Saint Francis of Paola in 15th century Italy. The order soon spread to France, Germany, and Spain, and continues to exist today. Dang, something from 1435 still existing today. That is awesome.
Yeah, it is. Also, in 1681, Joaquin Ferdinand de Porto Carrero, Spanish-Italian cardinal. Oh, that's a badass combination.
Yeah. 1745, we have Lindley Murray, an American-English Quaker and grammarian. And what the hell is a grammarian? Like, is some kind of old-school grammar Nazi? Like, grammarian, in the Greco-Roman world, the grammarian was responsible for the second stage in the traditional education system after a boy had learned his basic Greek and Latin. Interesting. So it was an educator.
Yep. Also, in 1824, Virginia Minor, American women's suffrage activist.
Yeah.
Ironic name.
It's ironic because,
what?
all the people who are,
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, okay.
Hey, I got something for you. Why did the bartender go to jail?
Why?
Because he was serving minors.
Oh my god. That's horrible. That's almost as bad as 3 Germans walked into a bar.
Yeah.
That's a good one. 1851, we have Ruperto Chappi. By the way, Keo, if you want to take anyone, just hop in. He was a Spanish composer who co-founded Sociedad General de Autores y Editores.
God damn, it's a mouthful. But it sounds like they're more editorial because editorial.
Yeah, let me look at that up. What is that? Sociedad, something, a bunch of Spanish words. The Spanish Society of Authors and Publishers is the main collecting society for songwriters, composers, and music publishers in Spain. Okay.
No, it has something to do with writing.
Yeah.
Okay. 1855, William Liddy, American target shooter, criminal mineer, geographer, geologist, and archaeologist. So they just say full on everything.
Yeah. You want to ask this guy about rocks? He knows a thing or two, because he's seen a thing or two.
And he also knows something about shooting rocks too.
Yep. 1857, we have Carl Pearson, an English mathematician, eugenicist, and academic. And down with eugenicity. Eugenicity, no. We don't want eugenics.
You know what? I'm gonna give we're gonna give Muffin 1863.
Yeah.
While we do that, I'm gonna have 1862.
Oh, I thought you were gonna give him that. He hasn't suffered too much today.
I'm gonna give him Jelena, Dimitri, Serbian short story writer, novel, poet, traveler, social worker, feminist, and polyglot.
Now that is a very long, extensive career. And what is a polyglot? Knowing or using several languages. Okay.
Okay. Okay, Muffin, it's your turn.
I think he might be on the phone call, though.
Oh, that's okay then.
In 63, right?
Yep.
1863.
In 1863, we got Henry Royce, an English engineer and businessman who founded Rolls-Royce Limited.
Yeah, the Rolls-Royce vehicles.
Yep. Fancy ass.
1885, Reginald Fletcher, 1st Baron Windsor, was born on this date. He was an English Navy officer and politician who is a Secretary of State for Transport. And isn't that the same year where Doc got sent back in time during the second?
Yeah.
Yeah, 1885. So.
Honestly, the best Rolls-Royce is the Wraith. Yeah, the 30 one, the one that's born in the 30s. Those look awesome.
Let me look that up. Which one was it?
The Rolls-Royce Wraith. 1930s ones.
1930s. This gangster mobile looking thing?
Yes.
Oh yeah, that is snazzy.
Those are the ones with the suicide doors.
Oh yeah. Yeah, I see that. The first thing that comes to my mind is the account I used to have on Gatao. People like hanging off the sides with their Tommy guns. You know.
Yeah.
In 1886, we have Ludwig Mies van der Rohe, a German-American architect who designed IBM Plaza and Seagram Building. I'm going to look those up real quick.
Okay.
Let's give Muffin... well, the next multiple of these are Muffin killers, so let's just see how he works out with any one of these. I'm checking out this plaza. It's just a big old PlayStation 4 looking building. What does a Seagram building look, though? Let's see.
I'll be back.
Alright. Seagram building is yet another just straight up just building with a very suspicious reflection on it. Anyway, 1889, we have Yakup Kadri Karaosmangolu, an Egyptian-Turkish journalist, author, and politician. And then, Kyo, you there? I think he's avoiding these. 1891, we have Claudizy Dushwishki, a Belarusian Lithuanian architect, journalist, and diplomat who created the flag of Belarus. And 1905, we have Rudolf Christoph Freiherr von Gersdorf, a German general. And watch, Kyo magically comes back in 3, 2, 1. Nope. Oh, he's playing games. Okay. 1921, we have Phil Chess, a Czech U.S. record producer who co-founded Chess Records, born on this day. And 1 year after that, 1922, we have Dick King Smith, an English author with a very interesting name. 1942, Michael Jackson, an English journalist and author, not the Michael Jackson we know. So, but yeah, somebody else has those names. 5 years later, 1947, Oliver Frigieri was born on this date. He was a Maltese author, critic, poet, and philosopher. And also in 1947, we have Walt Mossberg, a U.S. journalist with a really cool name as well. Should be on bullet points. So, 1963, we have Quentin Tarantino, a U.S. director, producer, screenwriter, and actor. Happy birthday to you. As well as to Zusa, also born in 1963. Who is a Brazilian actress, singer, businesswoman, and television presenter. And I think I heard somebody come back.
Yeah. Me. Oh shit. 1969, Mariah Carey, U.S. singer, songwriter, producer, and actress.
Yep. And then 1970, we have Uwe Rosenberg, a German game designer who created Bonanza.
Oh, Bonanza.
Bonanza. Hopping on into deaths, why don't you take the first one, Mr. Kyo?
First one here.
Yep.
Okay. In 17, where you got Rupert of Salzburg, Austrian bishop, and also saint.
Mm-hmm.
Salzburg, that's an interesting name.
Makes you want
Yeah.
Salisbury
Also,
steak.
1916, Alduin the first, Frankish nobleman.
I thought he was a dragon.
He was both.
Oh. So this must be him in his human
Reincarnated
form.
as a man.
1045, we have Ali ibn Ahmad al-Jara'i, a Fatiman Vizier.
Yeah.
I don't know why, but that's... Oh my god. Sounds like an engine start.
Oh, something.
1850, we have William Beer, Prussian astronomer and banker.
Yeah, I was just thinking that Key and Peele skit with the UFC thing. He just disappears.
What do you mean he's not a... What do you mean you can't find him?
1878, we have George Gilbert Scott, an English architect who designed the Albert Memorial and St. Mary's Cathedral. And I'm going to look those up, and while I'm doing so, Who else died on this day? Oh, that's an interesting thing.
I can take this
Also,
one right here. Oh,
yes, go ahead.
are you
Go
sure?
ahead.
Okay.
Yeah.
In 1900, you got Joseph A. Campbell, a U.S. businessman who founded the Campbell Soup Company. Oh, this is
Campbell. Yep.
Campbell.
yeah, Campbell.
Yep.
Okay.
People,
When I saw Soup
made,
Company, I was like, wait, hold up.
Hold up.
in 1926, we have Kick Kelly, U.S. baseball player, manager, and umpire.
Yeah, with a name like that, I bet he had a lot of outs. I'm kicking you out of here.
Kid Kelly.
Yep. 1927, we have
Also-
Joe Start, a U.S. baseball player and manager.
Oh,
Wow.
shit.
Also in 1945, Vincent Hugo Bendix, U.S. engineer and businessman who started the Bendix Corporation.
That just sounds
And
painful.
no, you don't Bendix.
That sounds painful.
Bendix.
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 1952, we have Keishiro Toyota, Japanese businessman who founded Toyota. Alright.
Yeah, that's
Not to be
interesting.
not to be confused with Toyota.
Yes, the Toy Yoda.
They're going to play with your toy Yoda later.
That sounds very filthy, but if you're going to do that, at least use the Force. So,
Oh, fuck.
Muffin, why don't you take this next one, Mr. Spaceman?
Oh, I remember this one. In 1968, we got Yuri Gagarin, a Russian colonial pilot. I thought he was a astronaut, but he's a cosmonaut. And the first person in space.
Yeah, how could he be an astronaut? He was with the Soviet Union. They had cosmonauts.
Yeah,
We were astronauts. So,
yeah, different words, same shit.
yep. 1975, we have Arthur Bliss, an English conductor and composer, and I wonder if he was ignorant, because ignorance is bliss.
Damn.
Bliss.
Also, 1978, we have Nat Bailey, Canadian businessman who founded the White Spot.
What?
Yeah, what
It's a
is...
white spot, dude.
I don't know. Nat Bailey, oh, it's a restaurant. In the 1920, White Spot's founder, Nat Bailey, operated a traveling lunch counter in Vancouver, operating out of a 1918 Model T. Sold hot dogs for a dime. So, the White Spot is a restaurant. Yeah. Apparently it's a legendary restaurant. So, and it's out in Vancouver, Canada. I'm going to have to look this up. Or check it out at some point. Although I'm not in any rush to go to Canada anytime soon right now, so...
No, why would you?
I know, right?
No.
1982, we have Fazlur Khan. Khan! Bangladeshi U.S. engineer and architect who designed the John Hancock Center and the Sears, or as it's known today, the Willis Tower. I don't need to
Ooh!
Yep.
The Sears Tower, that's an awesome
Yeah.
site to see.
Oh, the John Hancock Center is the Sears Tower. What the hell?
Also in 1997, we have Ella Mallard, Swiss skier, sailor, field hockey player, and photographer.
Yeah. 2011, we have Clements Arundel, a Nevisian judge and politician who is the first Governor General of St. Kitts and Nevis. Wherever that is, but cool. Why don't we give Muffin this last one here?
Yes.
I'm going to screw up this last name here. In 2014, we got James R. Schwarzenegger.
Yes.
I can't not pronounce that.
Sausage slinger.
Anyways, such a weird name. Anyways, a U.S. economist. I cannot say shit now. And politician. He was the I'm about to say 13th, 12th United States Secretary of Defense and the U.S. Secretary of Energy.
Yeah, the first U.S. Secretary of Energy. So,
First. Oh.
Turning into a YouTube comment section. First, second. And that concludes the show. Once again, check the underbar for any links that you may be interested in, which also include
Showing TV from Twitch.
And everything Omni Coalition. I do gotta say though, start migrating over to any one of those other sources. It's all the same video, just different platforms. I do got to make an intro. I do got to start pre-scheduling things so that way people at least have like a half hour or so heads up whenever we do stream, because our times are woefully inconsistent. But it's no fault of anybody. It's just, the world has just gone complete haywire. But anyway, for all of you and all of us, I am A.O. Xander.
No.
And Richard Pound.
Yep. Until you see us tomorrow, whenever we do show up, don't forget to look right and left at every intersection, rate 5 thumbs, and subscribe. Toodles!
Let's go, Byron.
Let's go, Brandon.